So here's a thought. What if an ancient religious text, like the Bible, wasn't just about faith and spirituality? What if some people see it as a literal economic blueprint? It's a pretty fascinating idea, right? That tucked away in its pages is a strategy for real financial stability. And today, that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
You know that feeling? It's so frustrating. You work hard, you try to save, you do all the things you're supposed to do, and yet you still feel like you're just spinning your wheels financially. Kind of like you're stuck on a treadmill going nowhere. Well, the framework we're digging into today suggests that maybe, just maybe, the problem isn't how hard you're running, maybe it's the foundation you're running on. And that brings us to this really powerful metaphor straight from the book of Matthew. Think about building your financial life like you're building a house. On one hand, you could build it on sand. You know, the shifting sands of market trends, the latest crypto hype on social media, that hot tip from a friend. It might look great for a minute, but when a storm hits, and we all know they do, that house is coming down. But then there's the other option, building your house on solid rock, on what this perspective calls the Word. These timeless, unchanging principles that are meant to weather any economic storm.
Okay, so if we're going to build that house on the rock, what holds it up? Well, this blueprint lays out 4 key pillars of prosperity. 4 different income streams that are designed to be seriously resilient. Let's jump into the first one.
All right, pillar number 1 is what's called divine diversification. And the idea is actually super simple, but really powerful. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Never, ever rely on just one source of income. It's kind of like how Noah's Ark wasn't built from a single giant plank, right? It was made of many planks, all working together to make it strong. The same idea applies here. Your financial life needs multiple supports to be truly secure.
So where does this idea come from? Well, it points to a verse in Ecclesiastes that says give a portion to 7 and also to 8. Basically, have multiple streams. And in our world, what does that look like? It looks like practical side hustles. Seriously, think about it for a sec. That skill you have from your day job, that could be a consulting gig you love to bake. That could be a small weekend business. The point isn't to burn yourself out with a second full-time job. It's about activating different channels that bring in income.
Pillar number 2 gets really tangible. We're talking about legacy through land. Now, hold on, this isn't your average real estate investing pitch. In this blueprint, owning land is about way more than just property values or rental income. It's about putting down roots. It's about identity, stability, and creating something lasting, a legacy you can pass on to the next generation.
The thinking here is rooted in passages like the one in Genesis, where land is deeply connected to promises and inheritance. And look, this isn't about needing to become some real estate mogul overnight. Not at all. It's more about a shift in your mindset. It's about systematically saving for that first asset, maybe a small plot of land or a single rental unit. The whole key is to start thinking long-term, to think in terms of legacy.
Okay, this third pillar is one of my favorites because it's an asset that literally every single one of us already has. It's called the wisdom economy. The idea here is that everything you know, your skills, your knowledge, even your tough life experiences, is a valuable currency. And think about this, it's a completely recession-proof asset. No stock market crash can ever take away what's in your head.
Drawing from Proverbs, the whole idea is to monetize what you already know, to turn your personal experience into a product or a service. I mean, have you overcome something really difficult in your life? That's not just a story. That's valuable experience you could use to coach someone else. Have you successfully raised kids? That's wisdom you could share in a workshop. See, the world is always looking for solutions, and this blueprint is saying, hey, you're probably sitting on one right now.
All right, our fourth and final pillar for building prosperity is called the economy of movement. It's a really interesting concept. It basically connects physical transportation with financial opportunity. The thinking is movement creates access, and access creates opportunity. So it's all about reframing how you see transportation. It's not just about getting from point A to point B. It's a potential tool for generating income. This goes all the way back to a story in Genesis, where Pharaoh provided carts to move Joseph's family, which literally saved them. Today, that exact same principle works. Your car? That can be a delivery service. Your skill? That can be a mobile business. We're talking mobile dog groomers, mechanics, you name it. The bottom line is this: stagnation can lead to scarcity, but getting into purposeful motion can lead to so much more.
Okay, so those are the 4 pillars for building your financial house. But it's one thing to build something strong, and it's another thing to protect it from being blown up. That's why this blueprint also points out 4 major threats, 4 financial landmines that can completely sabotage everything you've built.
And the first landmine is a big one. It's probably the most explosive. Uncontrolled debt. From this viewpoint, debt isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. No, it's way more personal than that. It's seen as a kind of modern-day bondage that chokes your freedom, dictates your choices, and just keeps you trapped in a cycle of stress and anxiety. And wow, this quote from Proverbs just lays it out there with zero sugarcoating. The borrower is slave to the lender. It just completely reframes that whole relationship, doesn't it? It highlights the sheer power that debt can have over your life.
But it's not all doom and gloom, because right after identifying the problem, the blueprint gives a super clear 5-step plan to get out. It's all about immediate, decisive action. Stop the bleeding first, cut expenses, no more new debt. Then you make a real plan to attack what you owe, get some wise advice, and, this is the most important part, you actually do it.
Landmine number 2 is a little more personal. It's an internal one. A lack of discipline. Or, as the text bluntly puts it, laziness. The core idea is that you can have the best, most divinely inspired idea in the world, but if you don't act on it, it's completely worthless. Ideas need action. Faith needs feet.
And what's really helpful is that this framework points out the sneaky disguises that laziness wears. Because it's not always about just lying on the couch, right? Sometimes it looks like procrastination, that classic, I'll get to it tomorrow. Sometimes it looks like perfectionism. Oh, it's just not quite ready yet. Or my favorite, endless planning, where you research and plan and strategize, but you never actually do anything. Just being able to spot these is half the battle.
All right, landmine number 3 moves from what you're doing to why you're doing it. This one is all about your motives. According to this blueprint, the reason you're trying to build wealth is just as critical as how you do it. It's like your heart is being inspected, not just your bank account. And you can see the 2 paths laid out so clearly here. Is your goal to build a personal empire, all for your own glory and ego? Or are you trying to build something that serves other people, something that contributes to a cause bigger than yourself? The claim here is pretty stark. One path gets heaven's backing, and the other one, well, it's built to fail.
And this brings us to our final landmine. And honestly, this one feels a little backwards at first. It's a lack of generosity. See, in this financial model, giving money away isn't seen as a loss. Far from it. It's framed as a powerful act of faith. It's like you're declaring, my real source of provision isn't this job or this bank account. It's something much bigger.
The principle here, which comes from Proverbs, is that if you hoard what you have out of fear, you actually end up with less. It's like generosity keeps a financial channel open, but holding on too tightly just blocks the flow. And this isn't just about big donations. It's about developing a spirit of generosity, whether that's supporting a cause you care about or just helping out someone who's in need. So there you have it, the 4 pillars to build with and the 4 landmines to watch out for. And that brings us to the final part of this blueprint, which is basically a direct call to action. It's the point where we shift from just learning about the plan to, actually picking up the tools and getting to work. And this right here is really the core message of the entire thing. In this view, prosperity doesn't start when you finally get more money. Nope. It starts the moment you start applying the principles. It all comes down to obedience to the blueprint, actually taking the steps, making the changes, and putting in the work.
And that leaves us with this final, really powerful question. It takes everything we've talked about, the pillars, the landmines, all of it, and puts the ball right back in your court. The blueprint is in your hands now. The only question left is, what are you going to build?